And what we've learned a lot through the podcast is like having conversations with one another and just hanging out and doing something we're both interested in has created a lot more intimacies, created a stronger friendship, created deeper connection, more empathy. And so a game like this, if this is not something that you do regularly, may be a great way to begin having these conversations because they're uncomfortable.
Growing up, what is one thing you learned about love from your parents' relationship? It's a good one.
It is good.
What's one change, large or small, that you think would make the world a better place?
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Don't say it.
What am I going to say? What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know. You go.
What do you think I was going to say?
What are you going to say?
If you had to describe the meaning of life in one sentence, what would you say?
In one sentence? Meaning in life in one sentence. I would say it's... Welcome back to Over Dinner. I am your host, Jarrod.
And I'm your other host, Dr. Nikki.
What started out as conversations over dinner about relationships, parenting, personal development, and just the human experience turned into our podcast.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Here we are.
One thing we want to say, just thank you for joining us and thank you for being part of our journey. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on Apple Podcasts, wherever you are consuming our content. Please subscribe, leave comments, leave us a review. It means so much to us. We're very grateful to get
Very grateful
to get to do this. So first, let's talk about what we had for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight, we didn't make anything. We are both not feeling the best. Both our kids are not feeling well either. And I wanted some soup. And it's hot out.
I know. I was just thinking of the fact that I have a blanket on and it's like...
Yeah, it's like 80-something degrees out.
Yeah, but it's like 68 degrees in our house.
Yeah, but I was like, I need some soup. Do we want to get pho or do we want to get chicken tortilla soup? Landed on chicken tortilla soup, so...
Yeah. We have no recipe for you, but we will post something.
I do make a chicken tortilla soup, but I didn't make it. I bought it tonight. So maybe we'll just tell you where we got it from in the show notes.
Or you could just give us your recipe for the chicken tortilla soup that you do make.
That's a good pull. Good call. Cool.
Good bowl.
Good bowl. It was a good bowl of soup and a good call to share that recipe.
Okay, so tonight on Over Dinner, we are actually going to play a really fun game I just got Jarrod for one of his Father's Day gifts. He already got all of his gifts, even though Father's Day is on Sunday. What did you get?
I got a projector and a projector screen for our screened-in porch outside.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool to... Now it's summertime, better weather, and we just cleaned up the deck. So we'll be able to go out there and watch some movies.
Yep.
Be great.
It'll be great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the third gift I got Jarrod is
called Healthier Together, Conversations for Creating Your Healthiest, Happiest Life. And it's by Liz Moody, you said?
Yep.
So there's
150 questions.
150 questions, 6 categories.
Which are...
What are the categories?
Wealth, love, growing up, well-being, what-ifs, and adventure.
Cool. So what we're going to do...
And you roll the dice.
Roll the dice. As you'll hear Nikki rolling the dice or see it happening.
Yep.
We made some ground rules before. The ground rules are... So Nikki will start. She'll roll the dice. That'll pick a question she asks me. We debated whether both of us answer the question or just the person whose turn it is will answer the question. But we're just going to do the person whose turn. Hopefully it'll turn in. I might ask it back just because, or you might ask it back.
Yeah.
But we thought it'd be fun. We have no idea what we're going to be asked.
Yeah.
I've looked through some of them. There's some deep questions in there.
Yeah.
It's probably stuff we never talked about before.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah, it's the fun.
So we'll also put this in the show notes, and it will be in our knickknack shop.
Ooh, tell them about the knickknack shop.
Okay, so before we get into all these details, I guess we should share some updates of what's gone out this week. We did have this, or last week, rather. Yep. We had the knickknack shop. Knickknack shop.
I like how it's named after you.
Well, it's not really named. It's like a play on words, but it's like knickknacks.
Yeah, it's Nikki and her knacks.
Well, it's all the knickknacks that we talk about in our episodes.
That's good, but your name happens to fit in there.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And my blog is called What Nick Knows.
Not a Nick.
Yeah. So, but it's the knickknack shop and has all of our podcast equipment. It's going to have autism life stuff, mom gear, personal development, all the books that Jarrod reads, maybe even his supplements, who knows. But there is just like, there's going to be a ton of stuff that we recommend, and it'll all be in the Knick Knack shop, which is live and ready to go, which goes into our Amazon storefront. Anything other new
No, let's
details?
do this. I'm nervous and excited at the same time.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Well-being.
Oh, my favorite one.
What always makes you feel better when you're feeling down?
Well, that's easy. Time with my family.
That's such bullshit.
No, it is. No, I would say, like, if I could just go to something and feel really good, it would be meditation. I would choose that 100 times. Like, if I'm feeling down, and maybe not like a full meditation, but I'll, like, even at work, we actually have a wellness room. Like, I'll just go in that room and either just be in silence, follow my breath, whatever that might be, it always just to bring myself back to the present moment, and a lot of times gratitude too. If I can just go find something real quick to attach some gratitude to, typically makes me feel pretty good.
That's great.
So I would say that.
Do you want to talk any more about meditation, or do you want to go to the next question?
Not much. I think we've maybe talked about it before in other episodes, but yeah, for me, people always ask me, talking about well-being, I have a really, like, my morning routine is really important to me with working out and reading and meditating. But if there's one thing that I would do every single day that I will not skip is probably meditation. That's probably been the biggest game changer in my life. Just a background, how I got there was because of Nikki and her family. Nikki.
Shout out to my dad who's listening to this.
Shout out to Sid. Shout out to Tear Bear. They've been practicing meditation for 50 years plus. Trained in India.
No.
Nope, didn't train here, but went to India.
No.
Didn't they work with Maharishi?
They never went to India. They were in Europe on different meditation trips.
Yep. I'm learning new things about your family. But Nikki got her first meditation walking mantra at 10.
Jarrod is specifically talking about transcendental meditation.
I am.
And in transcendental meditation, you have to get a mantra by a swami or a teacher who is trained in TM. And it's like a 4-day process, and you pay for it. It's an investment into your well-being. And that I was trained in it at 10, but I didn't go through the same thing you went through, which is why I think you have a deeper connection to meditation than I do, because it was gifted to me, and I don't think I recognized its value until later, and I found my own types of meditation. But Jarrod went through a 4-day course and got trained, and now he kind of does that among other...
A lot of things.
Yeah,
I would say like early on in our relationship, I kind of laughed at it. What I always thought, I'm a very logical, data-driven. I hadn't really connected to myself spiritually at that point, and I was just lost. Probably, I think I was around 27, 28, and you guys never pressed it on me, but...
I did. I totally pressed it on you.
You did a little bit, but your parents always talked about it, and I always looked at your parents, and they just... For where they were in life and at their age, they just seemed they had a different demeanor about themselves than other people I maybe met. And I was like, there's got to be something to this. So I said, I'll give it a shot. So they had an hour, half free orientation. I went, and I think what sold me initially was like 97% of what they taught or talked about was like the data and the science of how it helps your body and what it's doing to your system and the benefits of it. And I said, all right, I'll jump in, and did the 4-day class. And I would say like 2 weeks later, I was like, I was hooked. And now I still practice TM, but I've now just explored any and all types of meditation and what they look like. So yeah, for me, it's probably the most crucial thing in my day to day.
Cool.
And I appreciate you giving me that gift.
Oh.
But also, like, still, even like when days when I have struggled to get it in or be able to, I knew you were going to give me that look. But like, I'll miss it on like weekends. Weekends it gets harder, but jeez. But I always I'll ask, can I go get 20 minutes of meditation? But it's the partnership and you always encouraging me because it's really important.
That was like a deep comment.
Yeah, that's what she said. I heard. It's a roll for you. All right, I got fitness, well-being. Same one for you, Nick. Ooh, define what spirituality means to you and share the role of it in your life. What's your personal favorite spiritual practice or the closest thing to one?
I don't think I have a spiritual practice. I think I'm like always in it. So like,
what do you mean by that?
I feel that I'm a very intuitive person. And I'm always looking for connections of different things. And so like I feel like I'm in a spiritual journey all the time.
So is spirituality to you then, in essence, connected to your intuition? Like that to you is spirituality?
I just kind of feel like I'm in a movie. I'm in my own movie and I'm watching it play out and all these things are like happening and I'm experiencing them. And like that's a sense of spirituality because I'm being able to be of it, not in it. So I can witness it and then be like, oh, this happens to this. I also feel like a big part of my spirituality or practice, if we're going to call that, is like I am a big daydreamer. And I think daydreaming also pairs a lot with ADHD. But for me, like, I guess a practice, if we wanted to put one in there, is driving and dreaming is what I call it. So I put on a very specific playlist to get myself in a state to imagine or to be in that experience and to what does it feel like, what does it look like, all those elements. So I think that's something I really enjoy doing and just imagining something bigger than myself. And something that you've said to me about if your brain can think it, then it is possible. So that is something that I really like lean into is what I'm seeing becomes the being. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
that's good. I like that. Cool.
All right, my turn, or your turn, technically. Growing up. In growing up, have you changed any of your opinions or values in a way that would have surprised your younger self? I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Off the top of my mind, first big one is just sharing vulnerability. Like, I was kind of raised in a family where we just didn't share that stuff. I think as men in my family, we just didn't open up, connect it to our emotions, share vulnerability, kind of kept things in, be tough, go through it. And I just thought, for me, for a long time, that was just the easiest way to navigate life for a long time, even in our relationship. I wouldn't open up, not because I didn't want to open up. I wouldn't open up because I didn't know how to open up. I wasn't connected to my emotions. I just pushed them far, far, far away. So leaning into that, I think getting into the work that I'm in now helped me a little bit. But then obviously, to the previous question, meditation, spending time with myself and understanding what emotions are there, what things brought things up for me. And then I'm still working on it, still even in therapy, is now sharing when I do feel things or I have a experience or emotions come up for me. Now that I'm aware of them, then I just didn't share them. I kept them in, and now being more open to share, and I don't think I ever would have saw myself doing that. And then the other big one that just popped in my head is I'm still competitive, but I was a different level of competitive growing up through college, even early in our relationship, where losing or not winning at something, I would be off. Even when I got after playing college baseball, we were playing our softball leagues, and I would lose, you just didn't want to talk to me. I was so competitive. I had to win at everything, and I would do anything possible to win. And I felt like it was an identity for me that I'm the winner. And when I lost it, didn't. So, that doesn't bother me. I'm so competitive, but yeah, I think that was my identity. It's I'm a winner, and I win at everything I do, whether it's school, whether it's sports. In college, if it was beer pong, I wanted to be the best beer pong player there was. And I would get really distraught if I lost at something. So, yeah, I'd say vulnerability and then just this competitive spirit that I attached to for so long, that being a winner was how I needed to walk through life. And if I was anything else, that wasn't good.
Yeah. I could see that.
What else were you thinking?
I was thinking about the 2016 election, actually, that popped into my head about we were on the couch and we were watching Obama and Mitt Romney, and we were talking about values of why people vote and what's important to them. And yours were so different than what mine were. And I was talking heavily about women's rights and how important it was to make sure we're protecting those, and having a Supreme Court that was going to be supportive to women, and that wasn't even something that you were even thinking about. And you were thinking about military. I remember you talking about that. You were thinking about like financial implications and so forth. And I remember we had our very first conversation about abortion, and that came up and what your viewpoints were. And I'll just admit they were more closed-minded than they are today. So that's just a brief, memory. But what it says on a bigger scale is how much more growth-minded, how much more open-minded you are to the world. And I would say, additionally, now having a child on the spectrum, that's diversified your perspective on the human experience even more.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd also say money, too. Like, I was always attached to it for a long time. Like, had it, obviously I want to do well and help support our family, but I think for a long time I think I've definitely changed my view of what the value of money is in life versus what, I thought it was as I was younger and what it meant. So I think that's evolved a lot from, I grew up in a really good family, wealthy family, had a lot of opportunity, could really do anything that we really wanted to do. And I just thought, money was an easy thing to make, and it made life better.
In some ways, it does give opportunity.
It does, for sure.
It does buy privilege. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, it does buy some things, but I think my look at it now, it's a vehicle to, but knowing that that's not a top priority, like, I'd rather be in a wonderful relationship and love what I do every single day, where before I would be like, I'll do anything to make some more money or to.
But I'm just curious, like you make good money though. Yeah. So it's easy for you to say, I love what I do and I'd rather you live in a big house with healthy children and you have privilege. Yeah. You have white male privilege. Yeah. So my question is, like, it's easy to say.
It's easy to say that now, for sure. I totally understand.
And you do make the money.
Yes,
so like,
but I think my view back then was, you just got to do what you got to do to make money. Right? Where now, like, I'm lucky in the position.
I think it's really interesting that was the feeling when you didn't have it.
Yeah.
And now that you have the money. Yeah. It's much more.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's
free.
Maybe that's what it was. But I also, like, I could have stayed in the same path I was at the company I'm in and continue to, I could have probably made money faster in that way than making a decision to follow my passions, because that wasn't at the top of my mind. It was more fulfillment first.
Yeah. So
I think that shifted. Maybe we'll cut out the money thing. All right, Nick.
And maybe.
Where's my box? I lost my box. Ooh, love.
It's gonna be awkward.
It is. Give the other player one physical compliment.
Oh, wait, I can't just give one.
Ooh, you have to give one. It says one.
You have amazing arms.
Ooh, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That was an easy one.
Mm-hmm. What's the class of one? What if?
Yep.
Okay. What if? Would you rather live a happy life every day, but be forgotten instantly when you die, or be unhappy most days but have a positive legacy that long outlasts you? Speak to why.
Oh, live happy life.
And no one remembers you.
And no one remembers me. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Okay, cool.
This does explain why.
Oh.
You're like, you're good. Good answer, Jer. Yeah, that's for me. That's really simple. Like, I think I'm here to have an experience and enjoy my experience and learn and grow and enjoy that I get to be a human and live a life. So you don't care. No, for sure. But I want to live every day. I would love to be happy, and then who cares what happens after I die? I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah.
What would you pick?
No, just go to the next question.
Love again.
Oh gosh.
Give me some good ones. What's your favorite activity to do with friends? Share a story from a time doing it.
Favorite activity to do with friends and share a time while doing it. First thing that literally came to my head was our Italy trip.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. A couple years ago, many years ago. 2017 maybe?
17 or 18.
We had
I was actually just texting with Brett and Ian about this.
we went to Italy with some friends. Our friend was getting married, and she had her wedding in Florence, and we had the opportunity to travel with some really good friends around Italy for 10 days?
Yeah.
A little longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
The
still
best
like,
yeah.
we all talk about it as just being one of the core memory of, like, it's something you cannot replicate. It was so great.
Yeah.
So I would say.
It was the right people.
Yeah.
I think your vacation self is very different than your at home working that self. So I think just seeing people that we loved, and we're all in an amazing country.
Yeah.
Eating, drinking, doing some cool,
amazing
houses, like just did some really cool stuff, and it was just great people, and it was definitely one of the best memories ever.
Yeah. For sure. Cool.
That's a good one.
Is my turn? Your turn? Where's the dice? No. Love. What was the first physical trait you were ever complimented on? What was the compliment?
Oh, wow. First physical trait I was ever complimented on. I think it was actually 6th grade, and it was my abs.
Oh, I was going to say your height, but okay.
No, that was the first compliment. I was at a birthday party in 6th grade, and it was at a pool, a friend's pool, and I don't know how it came up, but one of my buddies came over to me and said, "The girls are talking about your abs over there," and I was like, "Yeah, cool." I just remember them talking about that I had good abs in 6th grade.
You still have great abs.
It was because I was it was probably ribs they were saying. Whatever. The girls thought I had good abs in 6th grade.
Well, you do have abs now. You have 8-pack.
No, I do not.
6 at least.
Maybe 5. I
No.
think one side's having it has 2. Oh, this is fun. Ooh, Monday.
Oh, God.
Wealth. If every job paid equally, what would you do differently?
Like, basically, what am I doing? Like, in comparison, if I...
If every job paid equally, what would you do differently? What would you do?
I'd do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Whoa.
I'd be
Exactly?
writing, podcasting, speaking,
Anything else?
running my own company.
You run your own company?
But a company, it doesn't have to be like 90 million people in it.
I don't
Could
think
be just me.
I don't think there's any company with 90 million people in it. Maybe Amazon. So you do the exact same thing you're doing now?
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
I do exactly the same thing. I mean, I'd be writing a book. That'd be... It's all part of it, right?
What would
Writing.
the book be about?
I don't know yet. I don't know if it's a memoir. I don't know if I'm that important.
I think you're pretty important.
Well, it's either a memoir, it's either a story of being a mom of an autistic child. I don't know yet. But writing, speaking, community.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Love.
You love the love.
Share a struggle you've had in friendship or relationship life. Have each other player share how they approach the situation.
Ooh, so I'll give you a situation.
Is it the one I already know?
I don't know, is it?
Okay, go ahead.
That I struggle with?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I think now some struggles I have in friendship specifically, and it's kind of, we talked about this on a previous episode, is, I can shoot the shit and talk sports and all those things, but I actually like deeper level conversations, and I think with guys sometimes there's only certain people in my life I can have those conversations with, and so I think that makes it really challenging in some of my male friendships, or what guys want to go typically do and stuff, and I'm just not as interested as I used to be, where that was my life was surrounded by sports and all that stuff, and I could talk any sport and drinking and all that. I like to have drinks still, but I think I would much rather be with somebody and have just a really good in-depth conversation about lots of things, but in-depth, thoughtful, vulnerable, open, and I think as we talked about, challenged navigating some of those social environments sometimes, because I'm not good at the surface stuff anymore. I don't think I ever was. Get a little liquid courage in me, yeah, for sure. I'm really good in those environments, but yeah, I think it's certain friendships and how do I engage and who are the right people to have deeper level conversations with. So what would you suggest? That
I'm literally the same position.
What would you suggest?
I'm probably the worst person to ask because I have something where I call it like the check the box. Like sometimes I just have to go do things because I feel like I have to check the box, or I have to keep these relationships. Like I have some are closer, some are further out, and then some are like I keep them around, right? And I force myself to have small talk and surface level conversations. And sometimes it feels really good to talk about celebrity gossip and nothingness. I'm saying it like I feel that I'm a really complex person with a lot of depth, and that can be exhausting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to like talk about where we get our nails done and like the cake for someone's birthday party. Like I don't want to necessarily always go there. But I find that when I'm in those situations myself, somehow I ask one question that I didn't think was deep, and it just opens up a whole floodgate, and then I'm in a conversation. I struggle with the same thing you do.
I'll say the other thing I struggle, I think, from my perspective, is like asking, like guys to hang out.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy. Hey, let's go golfing or something else. But like I don't know what else.
Why can't you just like? So what we do for girls, I'll be like, hey, do you want to grab coffee? Yeah. So could you be like, hey, do you want to grab a beer?
Yeah, I could.
Right? So then like it's still maybe around, maybe meet at like one of a place that does have sports. Like that you can still has things that are comfortable.
Yeah.
Beer, sports. But it also opens up a conversation for something else.
Other things.
What, like, well, why don't you go hiking?
Yeah.
What? So you used to do that when we first moved to Georgia. You were hiking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just got to figure that out.
Our life is very full.
Yeah.
It's hard to make this.
I just get uncomfortable.
Well, maybe it is a goal that you have for 2024. You have like 6 months left that you invite.
Set up some mandates?
Set up some mandates.
Okay.
And now that I'm aware of this, I'm going.
And it's being recorded.
Yes, and it's recorded. Okay. So everyone else who's listening to it, you're going to come up to you at work and be like.
Give me some ideas.
Yeah, give us some ideas.
What can I invite some guys to go do that's outside of like beer and sports
and
all
golf?
The time?
Yeah.
I like golf, but it's too long of a time for Nikki.
Next question.
Anyways.
But yeah, we'll put that in there, asking for some help.
Fitness, well-being, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean to be happy? Do you think happiness is worth pursuing in its own right? What does it mean to be happy?
Happy to me is being fulfilled.
And what does fulfilled mean to you?
At peace.
And what does that peace mean to you? What things bring you at peace or fulfillment?
Presence.
So do you pursue happiness, or it just is what it is?
It is. But we think that we're pursuing all the time.
That's my girl.
We're always chasing it.
Happiness is our default state.
We can use your own episode for all that. But it is. All the other stuff is the noise, right? So it all creates a lot of chaos.
Yeah, creates all the other emotions.
Creates all the other emotions. But when you just are, then you are fulfilled. You are at peace. Yeah. You are present.
And when you're present, you have everything you need.
Yep.
Nice answer.
Thank you. All right. What if? I want to get another one for you. What wealth? If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate fear from your life, what's the one thing you definitely do that you wouldn't have before?
Well, this is a big topic for me because I do have fear. Fear is like a core thing for me. I don't know. Talking about this with my therapist and our therapist recently is about just have this really deep fear. So what would I do if that was eliminated? If I can take a magic wand and eliminate my fear.
Is that the question? It said,
right?
If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate fear from your life, what's one thing you do if you could wave...
Leaving all this in.
What? If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate fear from your life, what's one thing you definitely do that you wouldn't have done before?
What's one thing
I know
would
that
do
it's
that
not here.
that I wouldn't have done before?
Yeah.
What's one thing you definitely do that you wouldn't have before? Okay.
Or just answer it the way you want to.
I'm going to. So, I would love fear to be gone. And if it was gone, what would I do that I wouldn't have done before? I would probably go pursue music again. Like, pursue it really. Like, I had a lot of fear going on American Idol, but I had a lot of fear after that of how that went. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks. Like, I was playing shows and doing all this stuff, and then after that moment, a lot of fear built up. And I think that's held me back from a long time from doing anything else with it. So I think I'd put myself out there a lot more with music. Cause,
you're starting with a podcast.
Yeah, I love music. Actually, when you were on your girls thing this weekend, I had a big jam session. And it makes me feel great, and I love it.
You play with Jake?
I play with him a little bit, then I play by myself.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll probably go pursue music.
I love that.
If fear was gone.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Monday! This is the make one up again.
No.
How does the idea of legacy drive the decisions you make in your life?
That's a really interesting question because
I'm interested to see how you answer this.
I feel that previous generations put more of an emphasis on legacy, one, and two, had more of an opportunity to do that. If we're specifically talking about wealth.
You think legacy is only wealth?
No, just wait. I'm specifically talking about on that and wealth because the millennial generation, from majority of the people that I know, are all living like bookend to bookend. Like everybody is tight. There's nobody who is like, there are those, but from the majority of all of us, it's not like we just have trees of money outside that we can go to. So sometimes it's challenging to think about legacy because I'm literally living in the now. There's not necessarily something financially at this point that I'm thinking about it in that way. So to add on to that, I feel that we're at the very beginning stages of our legacy. Like, we finally bought our first house. Our kids are now growing. They're like starting to go to school. They're in private school, so we're paying for that. Like, there are things that are like beginning that weren't there before. So now that we have this house, we're investing into this house, you start seeing the years pile up. And what does that look like? What does it feel like? How do you want your life to look like? So then the money piece comes in of like, how do I allocate funds so that way we can travel, we can do this, that these things are important to me, that my kids get to experience this and this and this. I just feel like I'm at the very beginning stages of that.
When I think of legacy, I don't think of money at all.
Oh, you don't?
Legacy to me is like, what's my legacy? What am I being remembered for?
But this question was under wealth.
I know, but you can look at it as anything. But I would say I would never look at legacy as how much money I have.
So what is legacy to you?
Legacy is what am I remembered for when I'm gone. That's my legacy.
Okay, I can totally understand that, but the question is under the wealth section. Yeah. So if this was under like what if you die, how do you want your legacy to be remembered?
Yeah.
That's a different question than legacy under wealth.
You're right.
Thank you.
Cool.
So
how about the second question? What do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be?
What do you want to be remembered for?
Making impact, mostly in my home. So that our two children can make impact too. So everything starts in the house, right? So whatever we do for our kids, that's going to impact other people. But what we're doing right now, it's all about the ripple effect.
Cool. Love that.
Love that for you. What if?
I'm got a venture?
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
The fear. Is it physical?
It's whatever you want it to be, babe. Just like my last question.
I would say,
I think it'd be anything you want it to
I
be.
think it's fear, but also like that I do seek approval. That I want to be seen as doing good things. That's top of my mind a lot. I don't a lot of times even take simple feedback well, because that means I'm
I
doing
feel like
a
that's
bad
so
job.
not true.
But it underneath in me, when in my head, what's going on, that's what's happening, is I can feel, fight or flight emotions kicking in when I'm starting to get a level of feedback, or just like something little. But if I feel like I'm not doing a good job, or I'm not, like the fact that not as much as it used to be, but I still am seeking that good job and all those things. And I just think that holds me back. And there's a fear of not doing a good job that holds me back at times. So
it drives you forward.
Yeah, it drives me forward. But then am I making the right decisions and calls, and because I'm doing it because it's the right thing, or because I want to get that praise or be seen as doing a good job? So if I can eliminate that ego part of me.
Ego.
Yeah, ego, I would get rid of that.
Cool.
Your first what if question. If you could live a day in the life of anyone, who would you choose and what would you do?
I choose Jake. Because I want to know what it's like for him to experience the world, so I can better support him. It's simple.
What would you do?
I just would literally be in his. I want to know what it's like to experience the world, like what hearing language is like. What does he really understand what we're talking about? How can I be better? What is his brain thinking? So I would love to be in Jake's head.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice answer.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Growing up. If you could relive a year of your life, no changes, just living, what age would you choose and why?
Wow. Probably the year of Jarrod.
Yeah, it was your peak year.
2019. That was just, I don't know. That's when I think it all clicked for me.
It was right before you had a baby.
Right before I had the baby, right before the pandemic. Like 2019 was a really great year. I got, that's when my promotion to director happened. I was just, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things. I was in a really, really good place.
And then you went down.
And then it went bad. Not because I had a kid, but because I had a kid in the pandemic.
And you went through PPD?
Yeah. Postpartum depression.
If you did? I mean,
no, for sure. Paternal
depression? I mean,
yeah.
It was rough.
It was tough. Then that went to one of the hardest times.
So, imagine, you're, living your peak.
Yeah, I was just, my routine was dialed. I was just such in good physical, mental health. Was writing a lot. I was just in a really, really great place.
And you were kind of a dick.
Yeah, I was, because I thought I had figured it out. But in the moment during that year, I felt great. I just felt great.
Great.
The whole year.
Great.
That was a great year for me.
Love that for you.
Yeah. Growing up, what is one thing you learned about love from your parents' relationship? It's a good one.
It is good. It reminds me of what we talked about last week in the podcast. Is that support for your partner and in their endeavors or their interests. I mean, it's a really beautiful gift to give someone. And that's what my dad did for my mom as she grew her private practice. He stepped back in his career to really elevate her and to move into a different career, which was raising me. And I think that's a really admirable thing to do. And we know I'm not an easy person, but raising kids is a job that is, I just read somewhere that it's a $200,000 plus job that we would be paid, but we're not. So I think the things that I really learned there is elevating your partner and the things that make them feel fulfilled and that they enjoy, because it makes them a better partner. That's what my dad did for my mom. And then also, I guess, sacrifice, but not in a negative way. Like sacrifice in a way of looking at the
bigger picture of things.
The bigger picture of things.
I mean, you can relate.
And look what I'm doing now.
Yeah, you can relate.
And I'm really grateful for all that I learned, because now I'm implementing so many things that my dad taught me. Yeah. So I think as a parent too, is that, you don't see the fruits of your labor until your kids are like 35.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I did teach them something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'd be the one thing that I learned.
Cool.
I guess those two things, but.
Okay. Let's do one more each.
Wealth.
Why do you get excited for that one?
Because you haven't had any. Tell a story about a time you didn't know what you had until it was gone.
Is there a song about that? I was about to sing. I was about to say, you can't always get what you want, but that was the wrong song. Okay, read it one more time.
Tell a story about a time you didn't know what you had until it was gone.
Tell a story about a time you didn't know what you had until it was gone.
I think it could be like a material item. It could be anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say sports and baseball. That was like my life for a very, 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 very long time. It was my identity. It's what I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I think when I was in it, I started at 3 and went all the way till I think 19 or 20. And I think I really took for granted what it gave to me and what it taught for me. And then when I didn't have it anymore, how lost I became, depressed and sad. And I just didn't realize what it had gifted me from not just, being athletic, competitive and all those things, but more so the relationships, camaraderie, teamwork, right? It taught me so much, and I've carried into, and I think that's what made me such a much better leader when I got into the corporate world. But I don't think I realized what the gift of athletics and sports was to me in my life until I didn't have it anymore and I didn't know who I was anymore. So I would say that's probably I didn't know how awesome it was and what a gift it was to be able to do it for so long and find the relationships, and it got me into the college I wanted to get into and all the things that it allowed me to travel the world. I went to Australia and did all these amazing things because I had the gift of baseball. And I didn't really realize all that till I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably was really tough. But also you get to travel with work now and you have teammates now.
Yeah, so I found it again.
You found it again?
Found it again.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't get rid of those so you don't have the mistake. Share a story of one of your favorite travel experiences.
We already answered that.
Let's pick another one. We've gone a lot of places, Nick. Hopefully one of those is in there.
I have a couple for different reasons.
Pick one.
So the first one that comes to mind is my 29th birthday, I want to say. It was also probably the year of Nikki, 2019. It was before I was pregnant, and we went to Canada, right? Is that where we went?
I think so.
The trip was great because I did not have anxiety. And I was so present and enjoyed it. I loved everything we did. It snowed on my on my birthday maybe while we were in a Scandinavian hot tub, in Whistler. It was epic. It was so amazing. And I didn't have the same weight of life as I do today. And so I envy that innocence. And then I'm just going to say one more place because it's for a completely different reason. The second one I would say is Vietnam, but not because of the beauty of the country or the adventure of seeing new things. Was how uncomfortable I was.
Yeah, you were.
I was I was the opposite of the way I felt in Canada. So I felt very uncomfortable, very anxious. I was worried about things happening, getting sick, all these different things. The motorbikes that were zooming. I thought we were going to get hit by a car. Asia was it was a culture shock, right? It was insane. And I'm so glad that I had that opportunity to be so uncomfortable. So I need to get out of my comfort zone now and go travel again, but it's really hard when you have kids.
We got to go travel again.
I know. If you had to describe the meaning of life in one sentence, what would you say?
In one sentence? Well. Oh,
I'm not editing this.
You're not editing this? I will edit this. Meaning in life in one sentence. There'll be tons of colons. I would say it's remember who you are. It's to remember who you are and to create who you want to be.
Amazing.
That is the meaning of life. Remember who you are in order to create who you want to be.
Love it.
Mic drop? Is that at the end of the game? Because that was...
No, one more.
Okay. What's one change, large or small, that you think would make the world a better place?
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Don't say it.
What am I going to say? What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know. You go.
What do you think I was going to say?
What are you going to say?
Communication.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Everyone just needs to be taught how to have emotional intelligence and how to communicate how they feel, so that way the world becomes a better place.
And I would add on to that. Mm-hmm. Communication is also how you receive communication.
Yeah.
So it's communication, how to speak and communicate.
How to listen, how to
also
hear.
How to listen, how to hear.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. So is it emotional intelligence or communication?
It's both.
You can't.
Communication is within emotional intelligence. So it's emotional intelligence.
Okay.
I want emotional intelligence to be as emphasized as Algebra 2. Like that it is a class that you take, that you learn how to become more self-aware.
In every grade.
In every grade, more self-aware. And so that way you can become more aware in the world.
Self-manage yourself, how to understand other people's emotions.
Yeah.
And how to help.
And how to communicate.
I couldn't agree more, Nikki.
Wow. How has your family's relationship with health impacted how you live your life?
Ooh. How has my family's relationship with health impacted my life? I could go a lot of ways with this. I would say first growing up family, eating pretty well because we made a lot of food. We didn't go out a lot, eat a lot of fast food. Like part of our family was always cooking, and we always cook really, really good meals. So I think that always helped my health, that we were just always cooking quality food, eating really good food, and that was how I grew up. Something I mentioned earlier, part of my family was you and your parents. So learning about meditation and all that stuff, I don't think I ever would have found that. I don't know, but I never would have been introduced to it or maybe gone that route or avenue if your family, your parents, you hadn't been doing meditation or talked about meditation. So I'd say eating healthy and meditation has impacted my life. I'm trying to think anything else that comes to mind from like.
I would say physical, like your parents or like your families.
Yeah, athletic. Man, my family's just athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know why working out has been such a thing. Like, I think that, I don't know, because I think now working out for me, yes, I like to look good, especially when you talk about my arms. But more importantly, like, I get the mental piece of working out more than anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say that now.
I get that. That's the fix for me. That's what keeps me going back every day in the morning, is that how I feel after a really strong workout. So, yeah. Cool. And then it's just like the discipline of it for sure. But yeah, but the big things from a family perspective was just eating, putting good food in your body, and making that food too, which has always been great. And then I wouldn't have found that without you guys. Cool. Yeah, then my family's also, I think reading's a health thing. Oh, my family are readers.
The readers, I totally agree.
Everybody reads. Like every trip we went on, both my parents always had books. Aunts, uncles, everyone's always reading something. So I think that I was reading. Especially, I actually think I read more as a kid.
I did. I think a lot of us did. I read a lot as a kid.
Yeah, but reading's always been in my life heavily. So I think that's helped with my health just as much as well.
Great.
All right, last one. What about getting older excites you the most? What about it excites you the least?
Death. And I hear 40s are supposed to be like the time. I feel personally, the older that I'm getting, the more connected to self I'm becoming. So I am shedding all the things I built as a younger person and now really stepping into myself. Yeah. Which is awesome, and it's fun, and I'm excited for what the next decade will bring, because I hear that your 40s, like I hear from people who are fulfilled and doing what they love to do that it keeps getting better and better. Yeah. And it's a privileged age, right?
You're still here to age.
Yeah, it's a privileged age. But what I'm not looking forward to, besides the joke of the death, which is not really a joke, but what I'm not looking forward to is the ailments that come, the limitations, or there's more probability in my head that more things can happen as you age than when you're a younger person. You're more resilient, or perhaps like you just not, your immune system, or, you're not as exposed to things as long as being, an aging person. So I'm not looking forward to that.
My biggest fear is the day I'm not going to be able to run. Like, I just can't choose to go run. Like, what is that going to be like? Like, I can't just go run?
I don't know.
What is that even like? And to your earlier point, I think my statement about what's the meaning of life is, I think as you get older, you remember who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're remembering actually who you are. You're coming back to self a lot more because you're shedding all, as you said, all that stuff that's been built up over time. So that's, as you get older, I think if you're intentional and, putting in the work, that stuff starts to be removed and you remember who you are.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it.
It's fun. I knew you just wanted to have the last word there.
I have to.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do next time is, because there are 6 categories, instead of maybe going through all of them, maybe we'll stick with one category and see how that goes. Okay. All right, Mr.
Yeah, let us know if you thought about this. This was fun for us, so we didn't know what questions be answered.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, let us know what you thought.
I will link the game so you can play it yourselves. I think the last thing I'll just say, so I can have the last word, is that the whole point of all of this, right, is to have intimacy in alternative ways besides physical. Mm-hmm. And what we've learned a lot through the podcast is like having conversations with one another and just hanging out and doing something we're both interested in has created a lot more intimacies, created a stronger friendship, created deeper connection, more empathy. And so a game like this, if this is not something that you do regularly, maybe a great way to begin having these conversations, because they're uncomfortable. Not anymore for us. Now I feel like this is just the way we speak to each other, but it wasn't always like that. Well, maybe it was for us. I
didn't always share it completely openly with you.
No, but they did have a lot of depth to that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So anyways, I just think that they can be powerful to use. I would endorse it. Did you like it?
I thought it was fun.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
You're the best.
Thanks.
Always thoughtful gifts.
I try to do that.
I know, you're good at it.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys again.
And have a good night.
Have a good night. See ya.